These steps will help make us an energy superpower. We're on that path. Wind and Wind West are a big part of the plan. We have enough wind energy to power a quarter of Canada's electricity needs. This can make Nova Scotia a more prosperous province, and it will make Nova Scotia a national and international leader. These are the first offshore wind areas designated in the entire country. Now is the time to act boldly, but we also have to act safely and sustainably. The assessment that selected the sites we're announcing today used science-backed analysis and public input to decide where offshore wind development can be done safely and sustainably. We started with 8 potential sites. Now we're announcing 4 areas that will soon be open to a call for bids. We'll move forward with the Middle Bank, the Sable Island Bank, a reduced French Bank, and a reduced Sydney Bight. That we're moving forward with 4 instead of 8, and 2 are reduced in size from where we started, shows that we are listening and we are adapting to what the public are talking about. But this is a chance for us to take charge of our future. And it is a chance to make Nova Scotia and the rest of Canada more self-sufficient. We don't want to rely on the US for energy, like natural gas flowing through the States to reach us. We want our own made in Nova Scotia solutions and the opportunity to become a net exporter of clean energy. Offshore wind is the first step in exporting our energy to the rest of Canada. We built our livelihoods on the sea in this province and our resources and on each other. But the days of exporting our talent and watching opportunities sail away, they're over. From now on, we're not exporting our people. Instead, we'll be exporting clean energy and keeping our people at home because we need them. We're going to need every hand, every skill, every community to make this a reality because there's a lot of work ahead and we welcome it. The momentum behind this is like nothing I've seen before, and we're all pulling in the same direction. This isn't about politics. This is about progress, and it's time to get to work. We're ready. Nova Scotia is ready. I think the country is ready. I mean, our country hasn't seen an opportunity like this in generations. So we're asking the federal government to join us, the private industry to join us, and work together with Nova Scotians to build this project and build our future. Thank you.
At 5 gigawatts produced, what work needs to be done in order to get that energy onshore, irrespective of where it would go after that?
The goal is not to produce 5. The goal is to produce about 60.
No, I understand that, but the initial call.
Yeah. But I think it's important that we not lose sight of the bigger picture. This is a big picture. This is a huge opportunity. So, of course, there's infrastructure needs. We're expecting incredible interest from private developers, and there is. This is in this space. This is the most talked about opportunity in the world, and I've been talking to potential partners, potential investors on many of my trips around the world. This is what this industry is talking about: Nova Scotia offshore wind. So we think there'll be incredible private money ready to invest in developing the generation offshore. Of course, they need to know they can get it to market. That's the transmission. And that's the reason behind the discussions that we're having with the federal government about the Eastern Energy Partnership. That's about transmission. So the construction of the generation, the actual generation, huge project, tens of billions of dollars. The transmission through the Eastern Energy Partnership, huge project, billions and billions of dollars. There's infrastructure to be built, but you know the needs of the world are very significant. If you do a little bit of research on some of the estimates for power rates, what will happen to power rates? I saw a report that said if there's no new generation built. This is a hypothetical. If there was no new generation built in North America, then the demand for energy will exceed the supply within about 4 years. Like there's massive demand for energy. Just in New England alone, 20 gigawatts short. Look at the deal that Quebec renegotiated with Newfoundland. you think they did that? Because they did that because there's massive demand for energy and everybody is trying to figure out where it is. And we have it in the offshore of Nova Scotia, and we're not going to look away from it anymore.
Understand
I have to interrupt you for 1 sec. We do have remarks from the minister before we go to questions, but we will come back. I know you're eager to ask questions, but thank you for your remarks, Premier and Minister. Go ahead.
Yeah, so thank you, Premier, and thank you for the opportunity. And today's announcement just isn't a milestone. It's the start of our offshore wind sector, and it's the first step towards becoming an energy exporter and another step towards becoming a prosperous province. We are sending a clear signal to the world. Nova Scotia is open for offshore wind business, and we're ready to lead. And I've spoken with leaders in this sector from around the world, and they all said the same thing. They're ready to invest here in Nova Scotia because we have what it takes. We have an amazing wind resource, a skilled workforce, and deep water ports, and a government that is clear-eyed and committed to making this industry succeed. The offshore wind energy areas we're designating today are the results of years of focused and coordinated work. The province, in close partnership with the federal government, has worked tirelessly to make sure that we get this right. Right for our environment, right for our economy, and right for our communities. Our consultations have been rigorous. We've met with fishers, the Mi'kmaq, environmental groups, municipalities, researchers, and industry partners. And that collaborative work has brought us to this milestone, designating the first offshore wind energy areas in Canada. So thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to more questions.
Thank you, Minister. Yeah.
What I'm trying to understand is in the immediacy, so you're going to have calls for 2.5 and you're hoping to get up to 5 by 2030. What work needs to be done to the transmission capabilities just to deal with that?
I think well, first off, the bid process has to be successful. And I think to have a successful bid process, we need to be able to demonstrate the transmission. This is why we're having extensive discussions with the federal government. This is why, as an Atlantic region, we propose the Eastern Energy Partnership. Everybody has, there's energy opportunities for this region of the country. They all need transmission. That transmission could go to Quebec, working with Hydro-Quebec. It could go to New England's, where there's massive demand. So what work has to happen is that this specific question, we need a cable. We need a cable to move the energy to markets.
Sorry, not even to I'm not doing a good job articulating the question. I'm sorry. What I'm trying to understand is what capacity work needs to be done to get the energy from the turbines offshore onto shore. Because as I understand it right now, we don't have the necessary capacity even to get it onshore, irrespective of where it's going to go.
I mean, there's a number of ways that the bid process could work, but it would not be uncommon for whoever is the successful bidder on the construction of the turbines to actually be responsible for getting it to shore as well.
This was first announced, these 5 gigs, this bid. There was talk about this energy being used to support green hydrogen. Now that green hydrogen project perhaps hasn't advanced as far as we all thought it might have by now. So is that still the idea that this wind energy would go to green hydrogen, or are you now looking at exporting it? That sort of sounded to me today like the talk was all about exporting it.
So it's, I think it's really, really important. So if we think about perspective here, right? So, this could be 60 gigawatts, could be 5 initially. But right now, Nova Scotia's peak use is 2.4. Okay, so obviously this is twice as much as we use. We have other generation capacity as well, right? So it's more than we need in this province. Our own internal energy use will increase pretty dramatically. Electrification, more industrial development through mines. But just if you think about the need for data centers in the world, one data center, 1 gig. So maybe we put 40 data centers, like you just green hydrogen, absolutely. So the demand for energy is only going up. So we'll have the energy. I'm sure some of it will go towards green hydrogen. Sure, some of it will go to Nova Scotia residential consumers. Some of it will go to Nova Scotia industrial consumers. Some of it will go to Nova Scotia industrial consumers that aren't here yet, but will come here. I think for me and for Nova Scotians, the thing that's most attractive is we'll have what everyone wants, and then we can go from there.
We heard a bit about timeline from Ms. Doane, but when, in your ideal world, when would you like to see the first turbine built and first farm complete?
Yeah, so, I mean, the first thing is for me, is to get some clarity around the transmission and the support, the federal government's willingness to support the Eastern Energy Partnership. We're having tremendous discussions there. I believe there's a lot of interest there. We will continue to move that forward with more technical specifications. That work is all happening and progressing pretty quick, I'd say. And I'm really encouraged by the team that the Prime Minister is building. With Deputy Sabia there, like this is the person who knows it, the Prime Minister himself. I think if you saw the Prime Minister's scrum at COF, when the Prime Minister was asked about nation building projects, he twice in his comments referred to Wind West. And I can't think of another one that he referred to. Like he's very interested in this for a number of reasons. It certainly ticks the box of making Canada an energy superpower. So I think we would hope to get some clarity around the Eastern Energy Partnership I'm hoping over the next couple of months, then proceed to the bid process. And then if we do our work properly, we'll have the most reputable companies in the world interested in this that will shrink the supply chain, give them more access to ability. So I think that's really important. But I also don't want to lose sight of one of the things that makes this project incredibly attractive to developers. And although the initial 5 gigawatts that's the biggest in the world. There's no other projects that big. Like that is the biggest in the world. That's at 5 gigawatts. But they know that there's another 50, 55, 60 coming behind that. That's really important because when you think about as they ramp up their own supply chain, well, they can be within the same jurisdiction for a long time. So that's a severe motivation to be here, be part of that, build up the supply chain here, and continue to move things forward. So I think that the overall project size, and people have been waiting for this resource to get tapped. Everybody's known this is the best wind speeds in the world, but I think a factor of 10%. Like there's nothing like this. It blows a lot. Like I think anywhere 50. I saw some of the numbers are 54%, what they call capacity. Some are I've seen 61, I've seen 57, but any way you look at it, it blows a lot. The only place the wind blows more, I say, is across the street. But
Minister Boudreau, your department issued an OIC earlier this month for a loan guarantee for a project that we've not had any details about yet. Is that related to this?
To Wind West, I can't get into specifics, but certainly it is related to energy and procurement of energy needs for Nova Scotia.
Is it related to offshore development in any way?
Not really at this time, no.
Premier, to what degree do you think the ability to generate private sector interest in this is aided by the fact that right now in the U.S., the federal administration seems to have soured on offshore wind? To what degree do you think that will help generate interest in it here?
It doesn't hurt. I mean, this is an industry that wants to move forward. President Trump has shut off that growth in the United States, so they have to look elsewhere. And it just so happens we have the best wind resource in the world on the eastern seaboard as well. It's actually convenient. Or actually, if you think about some of the projects that were contemplated on the eastern coast of the United States, and even some that have proceeded, like Vineyard 1, if you think about those projects, they're many of them already using our ports for logistics and laydown. So it's convenient. Our location is convenient. For me, when I talk to them, I say, come build in the offshore of Nova Scotia, build up that supply chain. And at some point in time, the United States will open up again and you'll be well positioned on the East Coast. So I think it's a factor, but it's certainly not the only factor.
Question on behalf of a colleague. We're hearing the port is looking to expand cargo potentially at the cost of the grain elevator, leaving Nova Scotia farmers to ship through Montreal. Are you aware of this, and how would the province respond?
That's been an ongoing discussion for some time. That grain elevator is incredibly important to our province, and we'll bite tooth and nail to keep it.
Question on the phone, so on Zoom, so we'll open up that, and the question is from Suzanne Rent with the Halifax Examiner. So Suzanne, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you. I have a question for the Premier. How optimistic are you about getting bids for these properties, given that there was zero interest in the bids for the uranium exploration? I know you said you've heard some talk from around the world, but can you kind of explain your optimism around this?
Yeah, and I think I have for the last 4 or 5 months, and certainly for the duration of this press conference. This is a world-class resource. There's incredible interest in this.
Do you have a follow-up question, Suzanne?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm not sure who this would be for, but I'm pretty sure windmills can operate only within a certain strength of wind. Do we know, like, would these be more powerful? Because I'm assuming wind offshore would be stronger than what we would have here. And do we know the range, maybe, that they can operate at?
Our technical expert on this one.
So it's a great question. So obviously wind turbines are built and designed for different sizes. So obviously when we look at onshore design turbines, they're smaller. When you move offshore, you're moving into a size about a 15 gigawatt size wind turbine design, and that has certain aspects like wind turbines. There's a lot of engineering and science behind how one turbine impacts the next turbine in the field. So there's a whole engineering aspect. We have looked at some of the wind speeds and understanding how that wind speeds, the capacities, as the Premier mentioned, and then also engineering design to make sure we enhance and utilize the best size wind turbine for the resource we have. We have been utilizing and have had research done, and this is going to get to a point I didn't mention earlier, but utilizing research at Dalhousie University and increasing the R&D side of offshore wind. As the Premier said, this is a global opportunity, and so we want our institutions and academics, whether it's the community college and new technician programs, or it's the universities in their research. We're going to be utilizing all of that resource for the future, but that is a good impact. That is a good question around size of turbine. And so as you move out, it will get bigger, and that will help manage the size of this and speed of the winds.
I think the fixed bottom turbines, this is not new. They have them all over the world. Floating is a little different. I think my father would say, this is not a problem to solve. This is a problem to do. It's just got to be done. The offshore wind with fixed bottom, they know how to scale those turbines and build them. The floating, the technology is still developing. And then at the other end of the spectrum, I'd say Bay of Fundy, problem to solve. Hasn't been solved yet, but offshore wind has been solved. We just have to do it.
Just wondering if the wind were to get too strong, would that impact the productivity because they can't turn?
Yeah, but yes, and the wind is strong out there, but they know how to. These numbers are close, and we can. But in the North Sea, where there's been turbines for a long time, I think the wind factor is like 9.1. Our offshore is like 10.1 or 10.2 or some order of magnitude. So it's that much more, but it's not like in the North Sea it's 1, and we're saying now you got to do 10. Like it's not a problem to solve.
Premier, some of us can remember other Nova Scotian premiers promising the offshore would deliver prosperity to Nova Scotians. What's different this time? Why?
I think the offshore was actually pretty good for Nova Scotia when it was going, and I think we've made incredible riches from the sea in general in this province. This is a new opportunity. The wind has always been there, but I think there's a number of factors that are kind of lining up. One is just the incredible demand for electricity. Everything's being electrified, so there's incredible demand. I think the desire for more renewable is certainly playing into, and just the pure economics of it. Everybody knows the first VCR was a lot more expensive than the one today. And my family bought the Betamax. They would think that they're wrong. So you got to be a certain vintage to know what that means. But I think the price of the technology, the understanding of the opportunity is all it's advanced to a certain stage that the economics start to work quite a bit better. And I think it's really important that you think about, when you think about the economics and the price of this wind, people say, well, it's expensive. And sure, it's more expensive than coal and more expensive than some other formats. But really, as governments and as industry are looking at the price of energy now, they're interested in what they've already paid or what they pay in the past. But what they're really interested in is what do they have to pay for the next electron, because they need it. Like provinces and across the country right now are turning away development because we can't put that factory here, we can't put that here, we don't have the energy, we can't do that, you know. So what they're willing to pay for the next electron is tempered by reality, I would say, but the price is very competitive.
That's all the time we have for today. I want to thank Premier Houston and Minister Boudreau for this, and for Kim for being here as well. If you have any other questions, they can be directed to the department, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks.